Islam comes from the same root word as salam or peace. You would hear people say Assalamu alaikum, which is a common Muslim expression, which means peace be with you, similar to the same root word, because it's a Semitic word, shalom, that the Jewish community uses. Islam literally means submission to God. As I indicated, a follower of Islam is called a Muslim. Muslims believe in a supreme deity. That supreme deity is God with a capital G. Muslims call that God Allah. It is not a Muslim God, just like Dieu is not the French God. Okay, it is just the name of God. If you go to a Bible in Arabic, guess what? It's not going to have the word God. It's going to have the word Allah, because that's the common term that's used, obviously, for God. Now, there's a common misperception, because although the Quran is written in the original Arabic language, there's a common misperception that Arab, Muslim, same thing. They're one and the same. Obviously, that's something that's quite inaccurate. I know. I see. There's a bunch of Muslims, but Muslims are barred from answering any questions right now. Question 2: what percentage of worldwide Muslims are Arabs? Just,
20%.
20%? Yes. 10%? Well, actually, those are quite good estimates. It's around 15%, so we'll just take the average of both of you. Many people, unfortunately, think it's actually much greater than that. There are more Muslims in India, and Muslims are not a majority in India, obviously. There are more Muslims in India than in the largest Arab country. Okay, just to kind of give you an idea. The Arabs represent, obviously, just about 15%, yet oftentimes when you hear what's in the news and so forth, you would think that they represent much more. The most populous country in the world is Indonesia. In terms of numbers, Muslims represent approximately 1 out of 5 people on the face of the earth.
The problem is, we have dialogue with our law enforcement, we don't have dialogue with our lawmakers. You don't see lawmakers who tell the FBI what they should or should not be doing in dialogue with the Muslim American community. I don't know any major U.S. senator that has come out in a Muslim gathering. Maybe here in Wisconsin, Russ Feingold is somebody that is more progressive and has, but he is the exception, not the rule. No presidential candidate stops by a mosque when he is going to a city. He'll go to every other religious institution, or she, for that matter. But they don't dialogue with Muslims. They'll take money from Muslims, but they'll do everything to distance themselves from Islam. Look at the case of Barack Obama, who has to distance himself from his Muslim past. And his Muslim past is basically a stepfather who was Muslim, or his years that he spent as a child in Kenya. He has not embraced Islam as a religion, but it has become a political issue in our country. So even though we don't live in physical internment as Muslim Americans, there is the sense that we live in virtual internment, that we are held hostage by these paradigms of Islam being the enemy of America and Muslims as being a suspect community in America. And that leads to antisocial behavior of young American Muslims, which is creating problems that we'll have to deal with later on. In other words, the Muslim American community is highly integrated and highly successful. We have to figure out ways to keep it that way. And then sometimes you get initiatives from our government that undermines the success and the integration and creates currents of isolation and alienation. And so everybody's thinking, okay, where's the, we have to prevent radicalization. Well, where are we going to, where are we finding radicalization? We're not finding it in the mainstream American community. Then they say we have to empower the moderates of the community. But then when you look closely at what the politicians say, the word moderate is basically the person who just toes the line of certain policies. They're either pro-war or pro-Patriot Act or even pro-Israel in some ways. That's the moderate in the eyes of the politician. the community, the moderate, is basically the mainstream American community.